I'm Jerry Kerr. I'm one of the founders of DRAFT, Disability Rights Advocates for Technology, which is the sponsor of the Segs4Vets program. I oftentimes describe my diving accident as that I broke my neck and saved my soul. I wasn't angry that somebody had taken something from me. I was grateful for what I had, and I expected to die, as I said. And the challenges that I faced, I took them one day at a time. Didn't plan for the future because did not know what the future would bring. For me, I wanted to help others. I wanted to, and I wanted to do this early on in my experience with disability. They introduced this Segway thing. The first day you could order one, I ordered one. And you had to go through a training process to be able to get one. When I showed up in a wheelchair, they just were absolutely not having it. They just did not want someone in a wheelchair using a Segway, and didn't think that someone in a wheelchair could use a Segway. But as it turned out, I could, and I was adamant, and my wife even more so, that I was going to have an opportunity to try to use the device. And the more I used it, the stronger I got. And my life got better. I mean, my life got immeasurably better. My body got healthier. And in 2004, I had the opportunity to go to Italy to speak at a conference over there, a symposium about the benefits of dynamic stabilization, which is the balancing technology for people with disabilities. And while we were there, we took a bunch of Segways with us. And there were some men who were from Afghanistan. They were United States soldiers, but they had suffered all kinds of injuries over there, which made walking difficult for them. And we trained them to use the Segway and gave them the experience, and it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome for them. And so when I came back to St. Louis from Italy, I had dinner July 11th, 2005, I believe. And John Brow, good family friend, was having dinner with us, and he and his wife. And I said, I'd like to give one of these away to someone.
John Brow here. I was fortunate enough to meet Jerry probably close to 30 years ago in total. Finally, he said to me one day, he said, we have military people that I think this Segway that I've been using for my own benefit could really help these injured warriors. One of my closest grade school and junior high school friends, General Everhart, was a fighter pilot in Vietnam on several missions himself. Ultimately, in the 90s, ran the Schwarzkopf Desert Storm first operation, and let's see if we can get him on our team, because he's got the contacts. And then Jerry kind of took it from there and went to Washington and met with the general, and things started to really happen. I think once Ed decided he thought this cause was worthy for mobilization of these injured guys, then he was all in, as you might say.
John Brow has been involved in this experience since that day in July of 2005. We completely dedicated our lives to helping those who could not walk well to find something that was the most beneficial thing in their life, mobility. And how do we give you mobility through a Segway? And that eventually transitioned to the alley chair, which is a completely different experience for those who cannot stand, and there's nothing else like it in the world.
I'm Todd Nicely, retired corporal from the United States Marine Corps. I chose the Marine Corps because I really wanted to see if I had what it takes. I wanted to push my limits and my boundaries, and I heard that was the hardest one to go through. I wanted to make a career out of the military, but unfortunate events happened and I had a bad day at the job. I stopped my patrol back 100 feet from the bridge, went to go clear it to make sure there wasn't any mines, and the Taliban had changed tactics from using metal IEDs to plastic jugs and low metallic copper and wood for pressure plates, and I ended up stepping on it with my left leg. If they wouldn't have put those tourniquets on as tight as they did, I would have never survived. I'd have bled out. I'm one of 5 surviving quadruple amputees from the war. There's only 5 of us, which is crazy. I usually walked a lot in my prosthetics. I don't like being in a wheelchair. But I was getting sores on my legs and not being able to do trips like I wanted to because I was stubborn. I just wouldn't stop even if it hurt. I ended up, really doing some damage to my legs and catching infections, and ended up in the hospital a bunch of times and found myself in a wheelchair longer than I wanted to be because I was being too stubborn to get off my prosthetics. But then Segs4Vets stepped in, and that changed the way I traveled, the way I play with my kids outdoors. Before I got the Segway chair, I tended not to wander very far out in the yard or want to be out in the yard at all because it's just hard to walk on terrain like that. But the Segway chair has made it to where I can maneuver around and get around now in areas that have tough terrain and go on vacations longer because I used it to get back and forth from the pool, which was a 1/4-mile walk. Being in prosthetics is great, but being in them all day is not good for anyone. And sometimes you just need to take a rest. And now that I have the Segway chair, there's no need to rest. I can be part of every activity that's going on. I heard about Segs4Vets a long time ago before they were doing ally chairs, but I was reintroduced to the idea back before October when Kelly and John Brower, the founder of Focus Marines, he went to one of their events and seen what was going on there and brought it back to my attention. And they both decided that it would probably be a good fit for me to have one of these ally chairs. I needed something easier on my life because it's getting harder and harder every year that goes by. Having something like this is going to be beneficial now and in the future.
If you think you're just giving money to buy a new one, don't take that as the only thing that you're doing. You're trying to keep over 2,000 devices running.
They're there for you when this thing breaks down. They're not just like, here's a Segway, go. Now it's up to you to pay the costs and take care of it. I just have to ride it. For me, it's opened up new possibilities.
It's the most profound emotional commitment that I've ever had. And I think that's shared by all of them.
So if anyone out there that's thinking about donating, even if it's $20, every bit helps, please do, because it's going to change someone's life. It did mine. Thank you very much for everything that you do, because if it wasn't for people like you attending these events and taking your time and your charitable, kind donations, then guys like me wouldn't get to enjoy life again like we do.